Hi, I'm Stacy Smith with the Arkansas Department of Education. And this presentation today dives into the options for schools as we continue with alternate methods of instruction, or AMI. We know that your buildings may be physically closed, but we know that you and your staff are working long hours to meet the needs of students. We're often asked, why not stop? Well, the answer is simple. We're student focused, and our mission at the department is to provide leadership, support, and service. Recently, Commissioner Key challenged us to simplify, innovate, and get down to the essentials. And as we're thinking about our AMI plans as we move forward, those are three principles we need to live by. So let's think first, and let's start here with AMI intent. The law for AMI was really about maintaining teaching and learning. And when many of you created your AMI plans, you were thinking snow day. Well, we're well past snow days. You know, what we saw generally with AMI was packets, one-day assignments or writing prompts, math facts. So right now, as we move into this next phase of AMI, we have to start thinking about extended learning days. And what does that look like for your district? Continuing to do the same AMI instructional packets that you did for a snow day probably won't work as we move forward. So that's what this presentation is going to take us through, and talk about the options that your district has moving forward. Here are some options for districts that we put out recently on the department website. We've broken them down into categories pre-K through grade 6. Right now, you may continue to use your district approved AMI plan, but you are highly encouraged to go back and rethink and make sure that it fulfills the need for an extended AMI period. We also have the ability to use, or you also have the ability to use the newly created Arkansas AMI. And in this presentation, we'll give examples of exactly what that is. And a third option you have for the younger grades is using digital content learning. And we have several vendors who are available for that. In grades 7 and 8, you have the same options of using the Arkansas AMI as well as digital providers or your own content. But there are several things there that you have to think through with that age group of kids, especially if you're going with a digital learning platform. In high school, we are encouraging districts to look at distance learning options for students finishing their high school credits. And again, we have multiple vendors who are available to offer free content for schools during this time. So let's dive into what is this new Arkansas AMI. So Arkansas AMI is actually a partnership between PBS Arkansas and the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education. Both of us have come together and we have selected programming that will play on PBS. Now PBS, being a partner, they're going to alter their schedule Monday through Friday to play shows for your students if you choose this option. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, our staff here is actually writing the lessons and activities so that we can continue to provide learning opportunities for our students who are at home. Arkansas PBS will then broadcast, excuse me, if you were expecting this to be completely polished, you're not going to get it. So let's try that one again. Arkansas PBS will make the broadcast available multiple times for daytime airing, evening airing, and also online for streaming options. So here are your channels that Arkansas PBS plays on throughout the state, and other opportunities such as YouTube for the streaming options. You can also go to My Arkansas PBS for other ways that you can access it. If you do not know how to access it from your local community, you can reach out to PBS for assistance with that. So let's dive into the Arkansas AMI Learning Guides and what the goal is. The goal is about providing support and continuous learning for teachers, parents, and students. It's to provide content and learning opportunities for all of our kids. It's to allow teachers time to focus on specific skills and at-risk students. So right now what we're seeing is most of our content for AMI packets are one size fits all, limited choice, and not really the variability to be able to differentiate. So Arkansas AMI has taken that into consideration. We also want to provide learning opportunities that are authentic and interactive in a home setting. We want to give students choice, and we want to give parents choice. And we also want to make sure that we are reinforcing and maintaining skills. This is not to take the school classroom and put it into the home situation. We're trying to consider all the factors that are in play here when creating Arkansas AMI. Our main goals for kids is we want them to remain actively literate. We want them to read, write, and continue to communicate. We want our kids to be critical thinkers and problem solvers. And we want our kids to be community engaged or just well-rounded. So Arkansas AMI is divided into 3 grade bands. Pre-K through 2nd grade program will air on daytime PBS stations from 8 to 9:30. Grade bands 3 through 5 will air from 9:30 to 11. And grades 6 through 8 will air from 11 o'clock to 1, Monday through Friday. And then again, they'll rerun in the evenings on their cable channels, and they'll upload the programming to their online site for streaming options. Super excited about this. Our previous 5 Arkansas Teacher of the Years will be actually hosting the programs. So you have Randy House, who will be doing our pre-K section. You have Megan and Courtney, who will be doing our grade bands 3 through 5. And you have Stacy McAdoo, who will be doing 6 through 8. And our newest Teacher of the Year, Joe Lookadoo, who is a math specialist, will be doing our math segments. So what does this actually look like, and what can you expect if you participate in Arkansas AMI? Well, the department has made these resource learning guides for you that you can print and distribute. When you're looking at an actual packet, this is an example of what a K2 one looks like. It's the front page. It shows the PBS shows Monday through Friday at the top of the document. All the shows are age appropriate and have all been previewed by DESE staff. Each AMI packet has a literacy corner that promotes reading, writing, and communication skills. There are also interactive lessons that also provide choice and connections to the PBS programming. Looking specifically at this one, you'll see that there's one on doing a presentation, where the kid's making a presentation at home based on something they watched in a show. But it gives choice that the presentation can be done on a poster, it can be done with papers, it could be done with a computer, and then it allows the child to present to their parents or even call a grandparent and video chat with them. It has examples of being able to write a story based on the details that you saw in programming. So everything is interactive and everything is connected to the shows that were watched. The list on these actually are choices. We're encouraging parents and students to pick from the list and not feel like they have to accomplish every single one. So there's choice involved. Also within these packets you'll see Think Like a Scientist, Math Mania, and a Fun Zone. Again, age appropriate for that grade band. The host, the Teacher of the Years, will actually talk about these activities online and give parents tips on how they can differentiate for a kindergarten student versus a 2nd grade student so that we get the learning just right. Also available in this is Spanish versions. So districts that have students who have parents who only speak Spanish, you'll be able to give the directions to your parents in a translated version. And those documents will come to you in the AMI packets. All right, also within Arkansas AMI, we've included all the resources and practice materials that are included within that grade band. So when you look at your Arkansas grade band for K2 or 3-5, if there are reading materials or math materials that are required for the students to be able to complete the activities, you will see those linked into the file that you're using. We've also created parent resources. Now I think this is probably one of the most important documents within the AMI packet, and that is to be able to provide some consistency to parents at home during this time. Things have changed right now, and those factors have to be considered. The best thing for parents right now with their children is to keep them in a schedule and to keep some routines. So we've built a planning toolkit here, or a planning guide, so that parents and students can sit down together and say, let's plan out our day. We've encouraged parents to keep routines. Like there needs to be a time that you're waking up to get ready for the day. You need to get out of your PJs. You need to put clothes on. School's about to start. Your show's about to start. So getting ready for the day. On the bottom, we gave examples and suggestions of things that need to be scheduled. You need to schedule literacy time. You need to schedule Math Mania. When are you going to do the science? Now again, you don't have to have every content area every day, but plan for the week so that you are at least doing math 2 to 3 times. Plan for the week that you're doing science 2 or 3 times, and literacy 3 to 5 times, depending on the grade band. This is a really important document. Post this then at your houses for parents and live by this. This gives a little bit of consistency within the schedule. If your district is planning on doing phone calls or meeting with parents or doing FaceTime or Zoom still, you can build that in and customize the schedule that you're sending out to your parents so they can actually see, oh, we need to make sure during this time period my child is available, or we'll be expecting a phone call from the school. Other resources that the department has put together is kind of a top 5 in a variety of categories. Get Up and Move is top 5 interactive, physically active on websites that you can go to for parents for suggestions and ideas about what they can do with their kid at home to keep them moving. Think Like a Scientist, Math Mania, again, those kind of speak for themselves. Books speaks for themselves. But again, this is another online resource for our parents looking for things to do for their students. Another option that we have for districts within Arkansas AMI and things that they have to consider is how are they going to do grading. Okay? Within the state right now, there have been multiple rules and legislation that have been waived as we're going through these last few weeks of school. And grading is one of those things that has some flexibility within it. So within the Arkansas AMI packet, what we have created here is a customizable self-reporting tool or form for districts. The form actually matches the grade level band. So on here you can see where we have Khan Academy listed, the grocery game, diameter, be a kid chef, math fluency, oh, and connect the dot, I skipped that one. Over on the self-reporting tool, those same activities are listed. So parents can actually say, this week we did we did these 2 or 3. At the bottom where you see the megaphone, that's where you have to customize as a district. What is your expectation? What do you want them to do? Okay? All of these forms, you can make a copy and you can adjust and customize to meet the needs of your district. Do you want your students picking 2 or 3 things that they did that week and uploading it or emailing it in or mailing it? That's a district decision that you guys have to talk about and determine. But this is a way to have self-reporting, to keep a portfolio of student work at a local level to make sure that kids are continuing their learning. District responsibility. So this isn't one of those things where the state's made all these lesson plans and the districts don't have to do anything. That's simply not true. What happens is what we're trying to do is we're trying to support your teachers and your students with some content that they can plan around and give your teachers the opportunity to get really focused on the students that need some extra attention during this time. This is a district to-do checklist that we actually have within the Google links that will be coming out. The first thing you have to do is you have to decide what grade bands are going to participate. Pre-K through 2nd, 3 through 5, or 6-8. You can stop in the middle, just say only 6th grade and not have to do 7-8. Again, a district decision, but that's a decision you have to make. You have to determine what local channels students will access. You have to determine who's going to organize and distribute the packets to students, teachers, and the community. You have to have someone who's going to actually review the materials as they come to your districts and customize them as appropriate. Each time you're going to see that there's going to be a grade band required document or learning guide. There's going to be resources available, and then you have the optional ones of the customized self-reporting and the idea of the Spanish versions. Which ones do you need? And you need someone being able to look at that and determine what you need. You also have to establish a communication plan. All right, and I skipped one there. Hard copy or electronic. How are you going to get these out? we've been talking and had lots of ideas pertaining to the hard copy. Many of you are still doing pickup for breakfast and lunch. That's a time you can distribute. We've also talked about acting like these are packets, like a school supply list that you can put at your local grocery store, gas station, and kids and families can go up there if they didn't get one and get their guide. You can also send it out electronically to your students and families so that they have the packet come to them digitally. But that is some planning on your part that you have to decide. And again, you need to review the materials as a district. And if there's something you want to customize or take out or require that all students do, you have the ability to be able to customize and make that happen for your district. Make this your own. You also have to decide the grading, and we talked a little bit about that earlier. And you have to create a community partnership. Your community needs to know that this is what you're participating in with PBS, so that they can make sure that they have access to the programming, they know where to go and what times to view. This is an opportunity to really bring your community into the process. We have built in some interactive games like vocabulary bingo, where students are looking for words throughout the week to get a bingo. This is a great opportunity for you to talk to a business and say, hey, if a kid brings in an Arkansas AMI bingo, do you have a free ice cream cone for them, or do we have something to pass out? So how can you pull your community in and make them involved with Arkansas AMI? So now what? What's next? You need to register your district for Arkansas AMI. There is a link provided here that you can register. It also will come out in the commissioner. It also came out in the commissioner's memo for you to be able to access that and register. What do you get if you register your district? We'll send the materials directly to you in email to your inbox, so you don't have to always go looking for them each week to see if they've been released yet. They'll come directly to you. If you don't register, can you use the materials? Of course you can. They're going to be publicly posted for anyone to use at any time, but we encourage you to register so that we can directly support you and directly send you the materials. As we update, if we see an error and we realize we needed to refresh something, we can get messages to you directly. I don't know that the plan is perfect, but I do know that we've provided activities that parents and students can do together. I do know that we've provided activities to encourage reading, writing, communicating, opportunities for students to think critically and to continue to practice and reinforce skills that they have previously learned. So I hope you enjoy the Arkansas AMI and PBS partnership.